is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Boyz Corner with my man, my co-host, Cowboys Corner. Let them know where they can find you, my guy.
Yeah, third episode, Boys for Life. Third episode of the Boyz Corner right here on your Thursday night. Thank you guys for watching our show, sharing it, and getting it out there. Eventually, we'll get this on my channel too, and we'll just share week-to-week basis. But underscore Cowboys Corner right here on Twitter, and Cowboys Corner right here on the YouTubes.
You know about getting it on your show. If you, like I told you, if you get on that StreamYard and you get your destinations on that thing, we can straight up stream it on your show. So it'll be on both of our shows simultaneously all the time, and it'll be playing on your Twitter and any other social media you want it to play on.
Well, let's rock. We'll figure that out for next week.
Yeah. Speaking of next week, it might be a little bit of a later show, but only up until 9 o'clock because I'm working till about 7 o'clock next week, filling in for a guy who had some family issues, so I'm taking a shift. So, but anyways, let's get into this Cowboy stuff. So another crazy, fun week of free agency. We signed a punter, one of our best guys that we had out there. We had enough money to sign our Pro Bowl punter. But what I want to talk to you about is, we saw Tyreek Hill go. The Chiefs got plethora of picks, 5 picks. What we got with Amari Cooper, do you feel? I know the compensation, I guess, it wasn't there. Maybe, I don't know, but how do you feel about what the Chiefs got for Tyreek Hill versus what we got for Amari Cooper? And is it comparable? Because are these two type of guys? I know they're not the same type of wide receiver, but as far as their name and them both being big name guys, do you feel that we got our eyes poked out?
It's a great conversation. I'm glad we're having it. Tyreek Hill's an explosive player, right?
Yeah.
And then Amari Cooper is the more of a quiet guy. Will make a play for you when the game's on the line. But Tyreek Hill is more consistent on the gridiron when it comes to getting open and making those plays. Now, quarterback plays a big part in that. Patrick Mahomes does not hesitate. He'll scramble. He'll throw the ball like a baseball sometimes and get it to his targets. But Amari Cooper is more of a scheme fit type of receiver versus Tyreek Hill is more of, hey, if this route isn't here, just run around like crazy and we'll see what we can come up with. So there's two different dynamic wide receivers, but they both are household names. The Chiefs got a whole bunch of draft picks and they saved a whole bunch of money on the salary cap.
Yeah.
Cowboys, on the other hand, they only got 1 pick and they swapped and they saved $16 million this year on the cap space. So the scenario was different because Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins, they've been pretty heavy this free agency. And if they don't win anything with Tua Tagovailoa or with Teddy Bridgewater, whoever the starting quarterback is, it's not going to be on Tyreek Hill. It's just going to be on that organization. And the same thing with the Cowboys. Like, if CeeDee Lamb don't pan out, it's not that he's a first-round bust. It's just they had this big fascination with CeeDee Lamb, and that all is going to fall down on the organization because we have an offensive coordinator that doesn't know how to scheme fit for players. And that's been shown time and time again. Just look at his track record. It's a vanilla, generic Boise State offense. It's not good, Boys for Life, and it really ain't. So another side of this token was Brian Broaddus tweeted, because a fan had the same question and at Brian Broaddus and asked him why, and he said that NFL teams had a suspicion that Amari Cooper didn't love the game of football.
Yeah, I've heard that quite a few times already.
And so, you look at Tyreek Hill and what he brings to the game versus what Amari Cooper brings to the game. I think it's unfair criticism because Amari Cooper, he had toe tap catches, big plays, diving for the ball, all kinds of stuff. So to say he don't love football, I think is a spit in Amari Cooper's face. I think just because you're quiet doesn't mean like accountants.
Yeah.
Every accountant that I've ever met is boring. They're boring at their job. It doesn't mean they don't like accounting. That's just their personality.
Yeah.
And I think people are just trying to criticize Amari Cooper and fit him into this puzzle, but there's a missing piece to it. The guy loves football, and other teams, probably use that as an excuse and took advantage of the Cowboys because when it comes to trading, the Cowboys don't do a very good job.
Yeah. I mean, another guy we can kind of, I don't know if did you ever watch that? It's been years since it's been out, but that Great Wall of Dallas from A Football Life. Did you ever see that on NFL Network?
Can't say that. I really don't watch a lot of TV.
Oh, okay.
I really don't.
Well, they talked about the Great Wall of Dallas, and they talked to back in the 90s, and Stepnoski is one guy they talked about, and he was kind of the same way. He really, and I don't know if what Amari Cooper was, what he was like outside of the football locker room, but they said Stepnoski was quiet, and he really didn't watch or do anything or even wear a lot of Cowboys gear outside. But when he came time to play, he showed up and he loved the game of football. It's just different in the I guess the eras of, social media of how you're portrayed because you're on a scale 24/7, especially you being a big name like that and then you being a Dallas Cowboy.
Well, check this out, though. Des Bryant, diehard Cowboy fan, grew up in Lufkin, Texas, wore the Cowboy jersey, got drafted by Cowboys, advertised I'm a Cowboy all day, every day, and they cut him, right?
Yeah.
So it's all a business. It's a lot of owners. I mean, look at the Miami Dolphin owner, with Brian Flores, paying your coach to tank. Do you love football? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many scenarios where a lot of people done it, and that's all the way from executives in the NFL. That's all the way to referees. I mean, there's so many things where you can be like, does they really love football? But it never gets held against them until there's trade compensation on the table, and then they want to use the card.
Yeah, I feel it. Yeah, no, that's – I don't know. It's just I mean, I was kind of thinking about this question on the way home from work, and that's why I wanted to ask you what your thoughts were, because to me, they're household names, but they're two completely different type of
100%. 100%.
Yeah, so but let's I know we're talking about CeeDee Lamb just right now a little bit. I know last week we talked about him. He went 6 weeks without a TD pass?
Yeah,
right?
That's correct. Yep.
Now, when I'm looking at his stats right here, yeah, he went 6 weeks without a touchdown pass, but his stats as far as yards, yeah, that six game stretch, he didn't even have his yardage was way down. And I guess that's an attest to Kellen Moore, is it not?
It's a mixture of things. I mean, there's a lot of film session breakdowns where Dak Prescott is hesitant in throwing the football. There's Kellen Moore, who's incompetent to scheme around a certain individual. So it's all a breakdown of everything. And a lot of defenses, they know CeeDee Lamb's, it can be a problem for them, so they scheme around that too. But it's a mixture of defensive schemes against CeeDee Lamb, Kellen Moore not scheming around it to get him open, and Dak Prescott holding the ball too long, or just throwing inaccurate passes.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's the other day I was looking at his stats, and this was something I wanted to talk about, and it was alarming for me to see what he went from his kind of rookie season, what we kind of saw flashes here and there, to where this year it's kind of, I mean, he did have 1,100 yards, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he was a Pro Bowl alternate.
Yeah.
He did everything right, to be a Pro Bowl alternate, things of that sort. Hell, even Dak Prescott was a Pro Bowl alternate, but he declined, But it is what it is. But the thing with CeeDee Lamb is his primary role was the slot.
Yeah.
Can he play on the outside? That's the big question. If he plays on the outside, can he beat what's in front of him and the safety that's covering up top? We know he could take hits. We know he can have good yards after catch. The problem is, can he do that consistently, and can he find himself open with his route tree in order for that to happen? And that's the concern that many people should have, but they don't have that concern. So there's going to be a lot of weight on CeeDee Lamb's shoulder because Michael Gallup is going to miss about 4 or 5 weeks of the season, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure they're going to draft a wide receiver. I'm sure James Washington's going to come in here, but we still have Kellen Moore as an offensive coordinator, so I don't expect him to scheme around an offense where it gets CeeDee Lamb the ball and it gets James Washington the ball, Noah Brown the ball. It's just whoever's open. It's generic route system, 5-yard dinks and dunks, and we have to survive around that till Michael Gallup comes back. But who knows where our offense is going to be at?
Yeah. So now this is, I guess, how do I put this? This is something I saw on social media, and I don't know if you've been on there today. I was coming home and I'm just scrolling through YouTube and Twitter. I've seen some headlines where T.Y. Hilton is supposedly talking to the Cowboys or have been in talk to the Cowboys. If he were to come here, how would that change us having to wait on Michael Gallup if he came here?
So if T.Y. Hilton comes here, James Washington would be your outside, CeeDee Lamb would stay in the slot, and T.Y. Hilton would be on the outside. So if they bring T.Y. Hilton in, I can see that happening. Now, he is an older vet, so maybe they keep CeeDee Lamb on the outside and put T.Y. Hilton in the slot, and then have James Washington on the outside. So I could see that scenario happen. But again, it's the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And if they do it, cool. But we still got Kellen Moore as the offensive coordinator.
Yeah. No, I figure there. So as we know, T.Y. Hilton's over there with the Dolphins. You got Cedric Wilson with the Dolphins. And another Cowboys over there in the name of Connor Williams that we're all excited to watch him leave, right?
Oh, my gosh, yes.
So I have a buddy who is a Dolphins fan. He's his bachelor party that we had, we actually flew down to Miami back in 2014 when Romo had his return game that year when he broke his collarbone and he came back. So we went down there and watched that game. So I was texting him and I asked him, how do you like this T.Y. Hilton trade? He said he loved it. And I was like, yeah, it's a good trade. It's cool. I'm happy for you. But you also got a guy by the name of Connor Williams. Well, he was looking some stuff up and some stuff he showed me.
You're saying T.Y. Hilton, you mean Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill. Sorry, my bad. But he sent me some stuff on Connor Williams, and I didn't know stuff that he was sending me, and I haven't verified it. It was just I just haven't looked it up, and I just want to throw this at you. Connor Williams, for him being as bad as what we saw him this past year, or overall, he's only allowed 4.94% pressures on true passing sets, which is 6th best among guards that qualify for this.
Those stats are great, good, and dandy.
Yeah.
But the problem with Connor Williams and probably what they're going to inherit in Miami with him is the holding penalties. You can have all the perfect stats in the world, but if you're killing drives and hurting your team with holding penalties or 10-yard penalties, putting you, let's say he holds on 1st and 10, that's a second and it's a 1st and 20 again, right? So all those stats are fine, but if you don't clean up the holding penalties, it means nothing.
And I mean, I know you're more of aware of this, and I mean, of course I am too, but when I was talking with him, I was talking about the holding penalties. I was like, man, he likes to hold a lot. I mean, we saw it this year, and I can't think back into the previous years we've had him, but he's always had a holding penalty problem, has he not?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because when I was talking with him, he was saying that he's had a little bit of a problem, but it was not like it was this year. This year it was an extreme.
It was an extreme, yes.
Yeah. So But yeah, I like to mess with my buddies like that because they got a lot of, I guess they're Cowboy juniors over there taking a lot of Cowboy players. So with what we got coming out right now, the guys we've signed and whatnot, what are you, and I know we've talked about this before, but what are your expectations day one? Because I've been hearing some names already being dropped with the Cowboys, like this Sam Williams out of Ole Miss, I want to say. He's an edge rusher. I don't know if you're too familiar with him.
I haven't watched him, no.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was watching a little bit about him and what a lot of the guys were saying, but the guys that were talking about him were the guys that you're not beef with, but that you've been on a show, then you weren't on a show, kind of said some stuff on Twitter. But no, man, with us, with what I'm expecting with the Cowboys is for them to reshape this offensive line. I mean, we have Steele. We still got Steele. You're going to expect what's his name, Tyron Smith there to be about miss about 4 or 5 games probably.
Average of 3. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm expecting them is to rebuild this offensive line in this draft, and hopefully we take a guard in that first round. But it was funny, man. Not even a day after we had our show, I text you and I said, man, this team like the back of your hand. That what's his name? LVE signing. Yeah. That 1-year deal. Oh, it was a little bit earlier than what you said, but still it was a 1-year deal. Was it for $3 million?
Yep.
So, I mean, how do you feel about that? You excited for him to come back the way he stepped it up at the end of last season?
Yeah, no, LVE he's the concern with LVE was his health. And so, he broke his collarbone. He had some neck flare-ups. He had neck surgery. So that was the big concern was, coming out of Boise State was his neck. And his neck has plagued him. And he's had highs and he's had really lows here in the NFL. But I think with him playing in the middle and letting Micah Parsons roam is a big key for his success. But the defense, the front seven as a whole, including LV, has to play at a high level in order for LV to excel, because I felt like when people were doing their job, LV was able to clog holes, hit his gaps, have really good gap assignment. I think taking away Jalen Smith away from him actually excelled his game also, because if Jalen Smith is taking bad gaps, which he did a lot late in his career, then LVE would have to go above and beyond to try to make that up, and it just didn't look good for LVE. So as long as Micah Parsons, LVE is going to get a big contract. As long as he can stay healthy and he can be consistent like he was at the tail end of the season. But I was real surprised that his market didn't heat up as much as it did, and he's only coming back on basically a team-friendly deal. Yeah. If they picked up his 5th-year option, he would have counted for like $8 million on the cap. But he's only counting. The Cowboys decided not to do that, and they got him for 3. So kudos on the Cowboys front office part for doing that, But at the same time, LVE still has a lot to prove to get that bigger payday that he might think he deserves.
See, I thought that 5th-year option was a $12 million hit.
Was it? It was anywhere. It was bigger than $3 million. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. No. Yeah, we did a good job there. But the next guy I want to talk about is Geron Curse. I know a lot of people were happy about him coming back, and I mean, I am too. I mean, in this Dan Quinn system, he's in that 1 year he excelled, and like we talked about last show, I need to see consistency. Can you do it again, and then can you do it a year, and then if you can do it 3 years in a row, or you're having consistency, I don't mind giving you that money because guess what, you proved it to me. I'm happy that the Cowboys stuck to their guns. They didn't overpay. They, a lot of this fan base wanted to give Curse the bag essentially, right? When it was his first year as a true safety, and he showed up and he showed out. But now, can you consistently do it in this Dan Quinn system? And I think this is even though last year was kind of it was a prove it deal, 1 year prove it deal. I think this year, this 2-year deal is the actual prove it deal. Can you prove to consistently do it? And if you can, then either the Cowboys are going to keep you or you're going to get that big payday somewhere else.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I told you last show, Geron Curse had this big, gigantic number in his head. I think his contract evens out to like $5 million per year. I think that's what his contract was last year. So it's the same contract. It's just there's another year added and probably more guarantees, but not very much. But like I said, Geron Curse had this big number in his head. His market was stale because he had that big number into his head. And, we talked about that last week, and it's essentially the same contract as last year, except it's a 2-year deal. So he came to his senses, so to speak, and he talked about I want to be paid what I'm worth. Well, you're still an average, safety because you don't have a lot of skins on the wall. So here's your payday, take it or leave it, because other teams ain't calling. I'm sure his agent had a big part of that too.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I find it funny when I'm scrolling through Twitter and they're comparing him to a guy who has been consistent in what he does in Buda Baker. So I found that funny.
That's a horrible comparison.
Yeah, no.
That's a horrible comparison. That's two different styles.
Yeah, no. I think they were just comparing the statistics. In the guys, which, like I've said before, statistics don't tell the whole story. They don't tell a lot of the stuff.
Cowboys had a number one offense in the NFL, and they were one and done at home in the playoffs.
I know, man, but try telling that to anyone else and all these other Cowboys.
Stats is just a glorified number.
Yeah,
32 teams lost this year. It doesn't matter if you got into an AFC championship game, an NFC championship game. It doesn't matter if you go to the Super Bowl. The only thing that matters is if you win that Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't play this game for stats. We play it to hoist Lombardi.
Yeah. So I mean, we are a Cowboy show, but there's a lot of other things going on in the NFL, especially within our own division. I've been hearing trade talks over there with Baker Mayfield and the Giants. They're ready to leave. I guess. Get rid of Daniel Jones.
Danny Dimes.
Yeah, and then I was happy today when I saw that the Eagles signed Derek Barnett to a two-year deal. I was like, man, that's about 10 penalties a game from that guy. Always getting. I mean, because I keep up with all because of the fantasy football that I play, so I got to watch a lot of football on Sundays. And either if I'm playing against a guy on the Eagles or I'm about winning money, so I got to pick some. If someone's on the board that I think is best at that point, got to go with an Eagle if I have to. But watching these guys and the way the Eagles are lining up, I was kind of worried with what they were going to do with those 3 picks, because there's some guys on the board with the draft and who they're signing. It's looks like they're not going to be taking some of these guys that I was worried about them getting, because having 3 picks, you can rebuild your team real quick. So,
no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, but yeah, no, but go ahead. What you're gonna say?
No, like the Eagles have a bad history of drafting.
Yeah,
and look at the Browns, right? I mean, they had 3 overall picks in the first round, this, that, and the third, but they never got any better. Not because they drafted bad; it's just because of the organization. I think what's his name? Sarah Rami, Sarah Dilly. I don't know his name. What's the head coach's name?
Sirianni. Nick
Sirianni. There we go. I think he's an okay head coach. I mean, he came in here and, he got the Eagles into the playoffs with a horrible start. So the coaching staff there, they can make something work, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you have to draft well. You have to have good free agency and good cap management. And, the Eagles, they won their Super Bowl with a very hurt roster. So they have it in them. It's just, can they draft well? So that's the Eagles' downfall there. The Giants, I hate the Giants. I hate I hate the Eagles the most. I really do. I can't stand their fan base. I can't. They worship a figure that don't exist. They have Rocky statues everywhere in their city, and Rocky was not real.
Yeah, no,
He wasn't real. And,
um,
but no, and then the Redskins, the Commanders, whatever you want to call them, that's just who they are. So I'm not concerned about them either.
Did that Deshawn Watson trade happen after our last show?
It did.
It did? Okay. I couldn't remember if it was before or after because I know we were texting a little bit after that happened. And I want you to explain to me and whoever's watching with Deshawn Watson, them being a heavy set run team, right? With Kareem Hunt and Chubb. And then now you have Amari Cooper and then now Deshaun Watson's there. Explain to us what we were talking about, how we're going to probably see what the Cowboys offense should have looked like over there in Cleveland with running the ball, play action, and then throwing it 30 yards down the field with Amari Cooper.
Yeah, no, self-explanatory right there. You know, they got an excellent offensive line. They got a great running game. They got them a damn good wide receiver. They probably have an offensive I don't know who their offensive coordinator is, but they probably got an offensive coordinator that knows how to scheme. And Baker Mayfield had a bad year. He looked really bad. I would say Dak Prescott looked better than him, just because the inaccuracies and untimely interceptions and things of that sort. So you get Deshaun Watson in here who loves football. Mm-hmm. Who's a really good quarterback. I like Deshaun Watson a lot. And I think, setting that play action up, having the mobility that he has. And one thing I want to talk about real quick, and I'm not talking to you, I'm just talking out loud. Quit trying to police players, people. Understand the judicial system and how that works. A grand jury of his peers, the first one said nope. The second one said no. So stop trying paying somebody for something that they have not been convicted of legally. Quit.
Yeah.
Quit. I've seen a Yahoo article talking about how soft the NFL is for this Deshaun Watson. Who are you, bud? What do you know about the case? Because 2 grand juries already said there's no crime was committed. So who are these people to judge this guy? They're nobody. They're absolutely morons. Know how the shit works, okay? Yeah. So that's my soapbox. I'm off of it now. But I think Deshaun Watson go to the Browns and the pieces they're picking up and what they're building there, they're going to be a legit contender.
Yeah, no, they're looking. I think I saw like a AFC power ranking. I think they were up there when with the pickups that they got. And on that, to add on to what you said about Deshaun Watson and the grand juries, I'm with you right there. I can't stand people, but there's always two court systems. It's the court system and the court of law, and then the people's court of how they view you. And it's funny to me when I see, him, the grand jury found nothing on this guy twice, nothing's there, but yet people want to still say, oh, that he did this and he did that, and he's a scumbag. And I'm just like, how? He's been acquitted of everything. I don't get how the Browns are a sorry organization because they went up to go pick up a talent the way that talent of Deshaun Watson.
Here's my thing: like Zeke coming in here, right, with the domestic violence hanging over his head. No charges were found. The NFL suspended him just because. And you look at Zeke's career. What endorsements did he get? What in commercials did he get? Because the NFL decided to take power into their own hands and try to convict a player of something that they were not brought up upon charges to in the real court system.
Yeah.
Right. And so Zeke lost a lot of money because the NFL decided to take powers into their own hands, take matters into their own hands, and suspended him for no reason at all.
And what's crazy to me is that it was not even while he was in the NFL that this happened.
That's true.
This happened in college. He went through court through college while he was in everything was acquitted. All that there was even and I don't know if like I said, I don't know, but I know there was messages out there that were saying that she was going to frame him, that she made this up, all that, and somehow they still that was crazy to me. I don't understand how that even can come about, of how the NFL can be like, oh, you're suspended for no reason.
Oh, and I'm sure there's people out there that still think he did it because that's just how dumb they are. There's still people mad at Michael Vick. Yes, he was fighting dogs, this, that, and the third, but he served his time. You don't hang over somebody's head their faults. Think about what if they keep doing it and it's a revolving door. It's a revolving door. Then it's not even your place to judge, but you might have something to say then. But he changed his life around. He's big into humane societies, things of that sort, but people are still not happy with it. And people just like to police, but when they open up their closet door, they act like there's no skeletons in it. So,
yeah. A signing that I forgot that we did. What's his name? The one that was with Dan Quinn for a little bit.
Dante Fowler.
Fowler. What do you, with him being reunited with Dan Quinn in this defense now? Because I was looking at his stats. I think over those 2 years that he only had like seven sacks, right? But he was hurt or something happened or Dan Quinn got fired, where he was only with Dan Quinn for such a small time, right? How do you feel with him being reunited? What kind of role do you think he's going to be playing in this defense this year?
Oh, he's going to. Funny thing is, he can play on the left side of the ball. He's not a linebacker. He's an end. But he's a stand-up end. And I know Dan Quinn, if you go watch a little bit of film, he used Randy Gregory as a stand-up type of guy. DeMarcus Lawrence did some stand-up things. So Dante Fowler is going to be a good complement to what we already have. Dorrance Armstrong, DeMarcus Lawrence, things of these type of guys here that we have on our team. He has some pass rushing moves, but what I love about it is Dan Quinn, he wasn't able to coach these guys as a head coach like he is being as a defensive coordinator. Just look at all the time he spent with Micah Parsons. He kind of resurrected LVE's career as of late. Look what he did with Geron Curse, Brett Urban, Carlos Watkins. So you take that and then if you don't believe in Dan Quinn now, you'll never believe in Dan Quinn. So Dan Quinn can turn this, we talked about that Rod Marinelli magic with George Selvey and Jeremy Mincy and all these guys. Dan Quinn's magic is that, but up that thing by about 10. Dan Quinn can find scheme fits around his players. Dan Quinn can get every ounce of sweat out of his players because people love to play for Dan Quinn. Dante Fowler known Dan Quinn since high school. So they're real familiar with each other. So I look for him to be rotating around left side, right side, hell, probably even up the middle every once in a while. I wouldn't be surprised if DeMarcus Lawrence is playing the 3, Dante Fowler's playing the left, and Micah Parsons playing the right, and he says, "Go get him." There's going to be a lot of possibilities and a lot of things that you can use in Dante Fowler, and it's just up to Dan Quinn to tap that potential that's there because he has been a first-round bust in his career. Had high expectations and gave little to no results. So it's going to be interesting to see how Dan Quinn uses him.
Yeah. No, that's a very good take on that. So with Dan Quinn being in his second year, it seemed like everyone wanted to burn the building down when, we were letting go guys left and right, but it seems like it's kind of gotten, a little bit better with the signings that we've had. How do you feel that with Dan Quinn here and the signings that we've had on the defensive side, bringing back Curse, bringing back Fowler, retaining DeMarcus Lawrence, because let's be real, he wanted to be released, right? I don't know if you saw that thing that he did, his little podcast. He wanted to be released because they wanted to give him less money or ask for less money. And they threw a number at him, whatever, right? How do you feel? What do you think? How do you think after what happened last year, the way this defense really stepped up, as far as takeaways and just the way we performed overall? How do you think that this defense is going to be under the second year of Dan Quinn?
Yeah, no, great question. I think so. We talk about, Malik Hooker coming back, Geron Curse coming back, Micah Parsons going to his second year. Tank probably feels rejuvenated. He's doing off-season captain workouts where he gets the defensive line together and they go work out, right? So they're all taking the necessary steps to get better. And you look at the positions that they haven't addressed yet that they should have addressed. Defensive end still. I know we signed Dante Fowler, but defensive end, they're going to draft one of those. They're going to draft a linebacker, and they might even draft a safety. So those are going to be three key areas that they're going to probably do in the draft. You look on the offense side of the ball, they haven't touched offensive line. So they're probably going to go offensive line in the draft. They're probably going to go wide receiver. Hell, they might even go tight end and running back. So they value some positions. They're betting that they can get the players that they like. I'm sure they're probably halfway done building their draft board. So, like I said, expect a safety, expect a linebacker, expect an interior lineman, one or the other. Expect a tight end, a running back, and a wide receiver. And those are going to be your draft picks.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like that. I mean, especially with, the safety position, we've been wanting a top-notch safety out of the draft for quite a while, or even a safety, because explain to me why, maybe you know why, aside from Roy Williams and Darren Woodson, a top-notch safety, why is it that the Cowboys don't value that position the way they value other ones?
They've had crutches there that was able to do enough. So Jeff Heath was able to do enough. Barry Church led the team in tackles for many years. He just done Byron Jones. They tried to invest in that safety position and convert Byron Jones to a safety. It didn't work out. He went back to corner and became Chris Richard's number one corner. So they've tried it, but they've had guys that was able to just do enough. J.J. Wilcox was a guy who was just done enough. And it's just like the quarterback position. Tony Romo was an undrafted free agent. They drafted one or two quarterbacks with Tony Romo, and that was it. Kyle Orton, John Kitna, those are like some quality backups they had, and they never really gave Tony Romo any competition. Look what they're doing with Dak. They don't value the quarterback position. They don't value the defensive tackle position. They don't value the safety position because they've had guys there that was able to just do enough. So why invest anything in there? So why replace the 2x4 in your drywall if it's still holding up the drywall, right?
Yeah.
It was just enough guys that was able to hold that drywall up well enough where they didn't think they needed that position addressed.
No, yeah, no, I agree. It's crazy. I never really thought about them not investing or not valuing the quarterback position as what you brought up, because for the longest time we had Troy Aikman, and then now that I'm thinking about it, you're right. I mean, the slew of random quarterbacks that we had.
Stephen McGee, remember him?
Yeah. Chad Hutchins, right? The baseball guy, like just a whole bunch of random guys until Romo got there, which, I mean, hats off to Romo, but, I mean, he was an undrafted free agent, that Bill Parcells
and
liked.
Sean Payton. Yeah.
And Sean Payton that liked. And then same thing with Dak. He had a spectacular rookie season, and then to you, he fell off. The next year, to me, it took a little bit, but, for me, he kind of fell off. But it's just interesting that you would think in a league that has such value at that position that the Cowboys don't.
They don't. Look what Bill Belichick did. Drafted Jimmy Garoppolo right behind Tom Brady, right? Was able to trade him off and say, hey, we got the next best. No one's seen Jimmy Garoppolo play. But, hey, we got the next best thing. He did it with Matt Castle. He did it with Jimmy Garoppolo. And he was able to get some value. Cowboys don't do that. They try to stay loyal. And it bites them in the ass because there's plenty of quarterbacks they probably could have drafted and developed and got some kind of compensation for them. They just don't do it.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's crazy to think that, you had an undrafted free agent, I don't want to say hold this team together, but did enough to get us where we needed to be to keep us out of those 5-12, 13-3 seasons to where it kept the fans holding on just enough to keep us there. And it seems like we're doing the same thing with Dak Prescott. He's doing enough to get us there. You see those flashes here and there, and a lot of people drink the Kool-Aid too early, but it's just enough to keep us coming back. And I mean, and I get it. You and I are diehard fans along with a lot of other people. So we're always going to be here no matter what. But it just seems like there's that other group of Cowboy fans that, I mean, you've seen it on Twitter, people doing resignation letters to go to other teams, right?
So stupid. So stupid.
But it's like Jerry Jones just holding that. What's that guy with that commercial with the dollar bill? Oh, you almost got it.
Yeah, you almost
had it. It's just he's just holding it right there for us to be like, okay, maybe next year we can do it because Dak did, maybe next year. And I mean, I feel like we've been in that since, God, I don't even know when.
Well, it's a great point that what you're saying there, because how many times have we heard, oh, we're one player away. Oh, we're one healthy player away.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we're 8-8. All we need is win and go home. We just needed one good play from somebody, right? Oh my gosh, this, that, and the third. And Cowboys do a really good job at sucking 80% of the fan base into that.
Yeah.
It's like we're only one player away. We're only one player away. And, we need safety. We need safety. And they draft guys like Randy Gregory in the second, Jalen Smith in the second. They draft, what the hell was his name? Tristan Hill, right? They draft all these. Tristan Hill was a second-round pick, right? They do stupid things in the second round where you can go get you a quality safety. You can go get you a quality wide receiver. You can go get you. I mean, look, our number one wide receiver before Dez was Miles Austin. He was an undrafted free agent. Like, they just do enough. Cole Beasley came in here as an undrafted free agent out of Little Elm, Texas, and was able to do something. So, like, they're like, oh, we didn't draft this, but hey, look what we found over here as an undrafted free agent. We found Tony Romo. We found Miles Austin. We found Cole Beasley. We found Barry Church, right? They do all this stuff just to distract them. Boom, 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 boom. But they're not addressing the real need of the football team.
And what's crazy is that, like you said, these guys they put up the stats, right? The empty numbers.
They do enough.
Then they get you there enough to where you're like, shit, we almost got it. We're almost there. And in actuality,
next year. Woo!
Yeah. And in actuality, we're far from it. We are far from it. I mean, the last time we did anything, right, we actually had a number one overall draft pick at the quarterback position. And that's thing that I've also gotten into arguments with Cowboy fans on Twitter is like the last time we ever did anything, we had Troy Aikman, who was a first round talent. And I get it. It's never a for sure thing ever. Right. But when you're that high up there, more often than not, your team is going to find success there if you build and put the proper pieces around said player.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, I'm going to tell you this, like proper pieces around said player. Name me a tight end that you remember that was very productive behind Jason Witten.
Nobody. I don't know.
They tried to address it with Michael Bennett. They thought he was an ass clown. They cut him. He had success with the Bears. He had success with the Packers, right? They tried to do it with Gavin Escobar. They couldn't develop the guy. So when they try to put some effort into something, they fall flat on their face. They fall flat on their face because they waited so long to do it, or they feel so much pressure to do it, they just jump to things like Gavin Escobar and Michael Bennett, who they never even freaking used. And Jason Witten's still there. They never gave Jason Witten no competition. They never gave Tony Romo competition. Hell, when they drafted Dez, Miles Austin was still the number one wide receiver. Then Dez eventually got into that number one role. Miles Austin got into the slot because he was late in his career. And then you know what Dez Bryant was able to do and what Tony Romo was able to do. But hell, when we had T.O. here, we had guys like Sam Hurd and Patrick Creighton. Like, they never had got anybody to complement T.O. And so they just never do it. Look at DeMarcus Ware. Well, who do they put behind DeMarcus Ware? I mean, hell, we had Anthony Spencer, Jay Ratliff, DeMarcus Ware, Greg Ellis at one point, and it still didn't work because they don't have any quality depth behind those guys. So they just fall flat on their face most of the time when they try to do something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you brought up depth because that's something that just triggered in my mind because I've always wondered why when you see other teams, their starter is at a certain level and then their backup is not far off between them. But when you see the Cowboys, it's like their starter's way up here and it's such a huge drop-off for that backup player. Like, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out how come it's always different for us. It just seems like it's always us that has that huge drop-off at that, whatever position it may be. It's just, you know, the defensive tackle, the linebacker position. Your star player, your starting player is an exceptional player, but then that second string is just awful, you know? Like,
yeah. You know, it all has to do with development. It all has to do with scheme. It all has to do with coaching, salary cap. I mean, once upon a time, the salary cap for the defense a few years ago was $40 million on the books for defense. And then when they tagged DeMarcus Lawrence, and it was a pretty high tag. I mean, that almost quadrupled the salary cap on defense just because they pay bridge players to go in there and fill a void if a starter gets hurt. I mean, look at left tackle. Look what they try to do with Chaz Green, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they always try to go the cheap route. They can't develop players, and it's just the reality of the truth. Tell me a player that had to work its way up from the roster besides Cole Beasley as of late, right? And I can't think of one that they developed and made their guy. Terrence Steele. I mean, that's probably one. That's about it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, because I mean, every guy that and even when they go and draft someone, they have that said player that's a starter, and even that draft pick that they get is such a huge dip. Like, it's just baffling to me. Like, you hear and I get it.
Charles Tapper. That was his name out of Oklahoma.
Who?
They spent a third-round pick on Charles Tapper, and he didn't do shit for us.
When was this?
Charles Tapper was a third-round draft pick 4 or 5 years ago. Like, when I was talking about, like, Jalen Smith and Randy Gregory, Charles Tapper, you know, that they take chances on these guys and it don't work out, and they missed out on players that could potentially be that depth that we're talking about and be other things, and it just doesn't work out for them.
Now, do you think that the reason why they don't try to bring in competition for their star players is because they are trying to be loyal? They are trying to, play nice.
Jones is not a businessman. He's a family man, and then he's a businessman to the NFL. But when it comes to the Cowboys, it's all family.
Yeah, which I think that's one thing I've always disliked about Jerry is that he wears his heart on his sleeve with his players. You know, he wants to give them the world. And, I mean, he did it to himself when he fought for the salary cap, you know, back when, you know, when that came about. And you can't pay all your guys, you know. You can't give all your guys that top money like he would like to. And that's one thing that's always bothered me with Jerry Jones. He doesn't treat it like a business. He treats it, like you said, a family. And that's one thing I want to give kudos to with at least the Patriots and what Bill Belichick does is he'll have his top guy. And once they want big money, you know what? I need to keep this going because I'm about winning. I'm gonna trade them off over here and get these draft picks so I can keep this wheel rolling and keep me winning, And that's the
Cowboys get so excited on compensatory picks.
Oh, I know.
Oh, we're gonna let them go so we might get a 3rd round compensatory pick.
When I started YouTube and doing this, I mean, I knew comp picks more or less. I knew what they were, but I started hearing that a lot with videos I'd watch with Cowboy fans. Oh, we're gonna get, we're gonna get a 3rd round comp pick, or we're gonna get this comp pick, and it's just like, why? We don't do anything with these picks. With those picks, we reach for guys at spots that we could have got them in a different round.
You want to hear a fun fact?
What's up?
DeMarco Murray signed with the Eagles. Cowboys got a compensatory pick for him, and that's how we got Dak Prescott.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
Compensatory. I've been saying the word wrong. Compensatory pick.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. In the 4th round, and that's how we got Dak Prescott.
That's how we got that.
That is
DeMarco Murray.
That is crazy. And then we didn't even want Dak Prescott. They wanted Lynch.
Yeah.
Right?
Paxton Lynch.
I mean,
they wanted Connor Cook, or what was his name? Connor something. And they wanted Dak, kind of just fell in their lap.
Yeah. But no, man, it's very interesting the way, you and I have been talking and kind of uncovering a whole bunch of problems that you and I have seen for the longest time. And I enjoy talking to you about this stuff because, like I told you last show, you're helping me realize a whole bunch of a different side of things that I've never, really paid attention to, because like I told you before, football growing up wasn't my game and baseball was mine. So understanding everything, you're helping me out a lot with this stuff. And I enjoy talking to you about this because we're basically on the same page with a lot of this stuff.
Oh, yeah, 100%. No, when I can't remember who reached out to me. Dang, what was his name?
Bird Gang 31.
Is that what? I don't. Yeah, that guy. And he goes, "You want to, go live with, Boys for Life?" And he was talking about another channel coming on. And I was like, "Oh no, don't bring that channel here. I'm telling you, I won't do it." And he was like, "Well, they're thinking about it." I was like, "Well, don't make sure they don't come, because I will not do any content with them."
Yeah.
And, I said, I will do it with Boys for Life though, because I wanted to get to know you. You have good, thoughts and things of that sort. So it's been fun. Three episodes in, and I look forward to Thursday night football talk with you, man. On the Boyz Corner, damn it.
The Boyz Corner.
On Cowboy Nation's network.
Yeah. But no, we actually, our shows are on Thursday night. So I don't know. Like, I know the draft is in almost a month. I don't know if you watched the draft that day. If you want to do something before the draft starts,
we might be able to do something before the draft starts. We on the Frisco Report, the shows I do on Tuesdays, we do a live draft watch on that channel. So
okay, got you.
Before the draft, but during the draft, I would be on the Frisco Report.
Oh, okay. Hey, and then that Frisco Report, I deleted it off my podcast listing because it wouldn't play, and then I subscribed or whatever to it, and it's still giving me that problem to where it's like not allowing me to play anything on the Apple podcast thing that comes on your phone.
I'll reach out to Joe and let him know that.
Yeah, like it's like I'm still subscribed, and every time I try to click on it, it tells me that there's a problem. Yeah, see, it'll be like unavailable to play. Something went wrong for whatever reason. Yeah.
I'll reach out to Joe and let him know. This is on the Apple.
Yeah, the Apple. It's that I don't know. You don't have an iPhone, so yeah, it's on the iPhone. It's a purple podcast thing that comes on the phone, and I can listen to other podcasts. It's just, for whatever reason, when I try to listen to yours, I get that all the time, and I can never listen to it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll reach out to Joe and see what the deal is with that.
Yeah. But all right, man. Another awesome show in the books. I kind of want to start to get some people in here. I know next week is going to be kind of difficult, but the week after that, I know I talked to Simon Soretti. I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts if you want to have him on here as our first guest? Not next Thursday, but the following Thursday, because I should be off of work in time to get home and set everything up. To where we'll have
bring whoever you want in, brother. Bring whoever you want. I'm down for whatever.
All right, man.
I'm here to talk football.
Yeah.
I like songs too, so I'm down for whatever.
Yeah, then we can get in, all the other guys, like 1980, fifth quarter cowboy, all the other guys we have talks with as well. But all right, guys, another episode of the Boyz Corner in the books. Before we head out, Corner, let them know where they can find you, man.
Yeah, right here on YouTube, Cowboys Corner, _ Cowboys Corner on Twitter, guys. You can follow me there. And no, man, Boyz Corner, dude, are ready for episode 4. Let's get it.
Yes, sir. And yeah, man, let's try to get you in that StreamYard thing, so that way we can have it on both of our channels and your Twitter as well, and whatever you want. And I know, if you don't have time to set it up, I always go in there. Like, I've set this up. I can always click your destinations, and it'll automatically play on your channel as soon as we go live.
Okay, cool.
So that way your people can see it. Not only mine and whoever else, whatever other destinations I have it to, all the people that follow you and everything, they can see it straight up on your channel. You don't gotta constantly share it, like how those people do. It'll just automatically stream up on your stuff, and it'll be playing to where we don't got to be going back and forth to channels. It'll just simultaneously play all the time.
Yo, let's rock. Yeah, let's do that.
All right, guys, we're out, man.